could beat Biden?
I think so.
So you're running then?
No, I didn't say that. I just said I think I could. I mean, I think that's, I mean, if you look at Florida.
Who would be harder to beat, Biden or Donald Trump?
I don't know. Those are two different jobs.
Which is your favorite nickname that Trump's given you so far? Is it Ron the Sanctimonious or Meatball Ron?
Well, I can't.
I think even he went off Meatball Ron.
I can't. I don't know how to spell the Sanctimonious. I don't really know what it means, but I kind of like it's long. It's got a lot of vowels. I mean, so we'd go with that. That's fine. You can call me whatever you want. I mean, just as long as you also call me a winner, because that's what we've been able to do in Florida, is put a lot of points on the board and really take the state to the next level.
Ron DeSantis, very clearly running for office. Joining me now, Ned Ryun, my buddy, CEO of American Majority, which is an outstanding group out there. Ned, all right, well, it's very obvious at this point in time, Ron DeSantis is running. Trump wants him to officially announce for obvious reasons. DeSantis doesn't want to officially announce for obvious reasons. I think they both want the same thing for the right reasons. Trump wants him in so we can smear him. DeSantis doesn't want to get in so we can stay above it all. It's really obvious what's happening right now. I just don't see that it's that big of a mystery.
It's really not, Jesse. At some point, both will be officially declared candidates for the 2024 nomination for the GOP. It will be between Trump and DeSantis. The rest that are running or thinking of running are essentially political pygmies. And it will be either Trump or DeSantis that will win the nomination for 2024 to be our nominee against whoever Democrats put up. I don't know if Biden's going to run or if they're going to have Kamala or a little Pete. But I have to tell you, Jesse, I just don't care who our nominee is. Quite frankly, I don't even care who the Democrat nominee is. Because if we don't figure out how to actually do a ballot out, ballot in machine, all we're doing is having great theoretical conversations about who might be a candidate in some issues, but we're not talking about really winning politically. And unless we actually focus on some of these fundamentals that we have completely abandoned, it doesn't matter who our nominee is in 2024. I think we'll lose the White House if we don't figure out some of these fundamentals.
I'm glad you said it, Ned. It's disheartening. You just said this to me on the same day. I just had this conversation with someone else an hour ago. We were on the phone and we were talking about Trump, DeSantis, who's going to win and all these other things. And we said, well, what does any of this matter? Because how are we going to win Pennsylvania? I want someone to explain to me how we're going to win Pennsylvania. And if we don't win Pennsylvania, I would love someone to point to the electoral map and show me how we have a prayer on sweeping everything we need to sweep. We talk a lot about Trump and Heavy D, and I'm just as guilty as anyone else.
Right.
If Pennsylvania can't be won, we're in deep, deep trouble.
Well, we're in deep trouble if we don't figure out how to do robust absentee ballot chase in Arizona, Nevada, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Georgia, North Carolina. It's something that was abysmal in 2022, Jesse. We can talk about 2020 being rigged, manipulated, all that. 2022 was a failure of Republicans outside of Florida to actually do something that was effective in being able to win in Arizona. Just to highlight it, Jesse, how bad it was. Arizona had over 1 million Republican absentee ballots requested. Only about 65% of those were returned. You want to look for at least 80%. There were 150,000 votes that didn't show up, and we ended up losing every statewide seat, and some of them very closely.
Ooh.
So the question becomes, are we actually going to focus on putting these machines in place in these key presidential battleground states before 2024? And if we don't, we aren't going to win, because this is what Democrats are doing right now, and they are spending, I heard, upwards of 20 or 30 million was spent in Arizona alone on absentee ballot chase by Democrats.
Okay, Ned, I'm going to ask a question, and I'm so scared of the answer. Are we doing any of this right now? Are we at least beginning? Is this process underway or not?
Let's put it this way, Jesse. I am, along with others, putting in place plans, because I'm assuming that the RNC under Ron or Romney McDaniel will completely fail again. I'm assuming most state GOPs in these presidential battlegrounds will not have the funding or the wherewithal to do it. There are plans in place where we are going to take a run at funding probably 5 to 6 key states absentee ballot chase programs, regardless of what the party does, regardless of what the presidentials do. I will say this, Jesse, if we're speaking about how you put together a great absentee ballot chase program, the one that has done it and done it very well for cycle after cycle has been Florida. So if you were to say, who do I think could actually implement a nationwide or a battleground absentee ballot chase program because he's done it so well in Florida? It'd be Ron DeSantis.
Okay. what do we make of Ron DeSantis' chances in the primary? Now, I don't believe anybody's primary poll numbers out there. Everyone puts out ones that lie and make them look good. I know the game. I get how it works. I'm of the opinion, though, that if the election was held today, Trump would win. And if he gets indicted, which I know that was delayed, I think those chances only go up, not down. Yes. Can DeSantis even take down Trump?
I think that's a really good question, Jesse. I totally agree with you on both points. If today Trump wins, if he gets indicted, arrested, only adds points to his lead in the primary. I think it's going to be a battle royale. I would not underestimate Ron DeSantis. At the same time, Trump is a force of nature. Trump is beloved by the grassroots. He has a massive, vociferous following in the Republican base. And Ron DeSantis is one of our most popular governors. I think there's still question marks about some of his foreign policy. I was very encouraged to see his statements on Ukraine. I'm still concerned about some of his trade policy ideas. So a lot of this is still obviously theoretical until they both become officially declared candidates. But the good news is, and Jesse, this is the part that I tell people, the good news is an America First candidate will actually be our nominee in 2024. So that's check that box. And then we've got to figure out how we actually put in place this absentee ballot chase program. But be encouraged, we're going to have a good nominee, whoever, if it's Trump or DeSantis, and then we've got to figure out the functional part of how we actually get to 270 electoral votes and win the White House.
All right, let's set that aside for a moment. Let's talk about American majority. Yeah. I love local politics. Well, I that's not true. Everyone loves national politics. I believe local politics are how we'll save this nation. Ron DeSantis, yes. Donald Trump, neither of them are going to save the country. The country will be saved at a local level. People like hearing that. It gives them hope, but they don't know where to go from there. Ned, they don't know what to do. Okay, I'm all game for local elections. What do I do? People don't know what to do. What do they do?
Well, I go to AmericanMajority.org for starters, Jesse. We've been doing this for 15 years, really swiping a page from the left's playbook, in which 15 years ago, we decided we were going to put together an organization that's going to identify and train people to run for school board all the way up to state senate. And I'm a big believer, Jesse, that politics is policy. It's great to have, great policy ideas. I think we've got some of the best as conservatives, but unless you win politically, all you're doing is having great conversations about great ideas. So we teach a lot of nuts and bolts. How do you put together a campaign plan? How do you fundraise? How do you put together get out the vote? How do you message? For the activists, it's more of how do you get out the vote, social media, all these things. We're also rolling out, just so you know, as part of our new curriculum in 2023, how do you put together an absentee ballot chase program, whether you're a candidate or an activist? So a lot of what we do and have been doing for 15 years is equipping people with the nuts and bolts of, here's how you actually go and run for office in a metric-driven, goal-driven way to give yourself the best chance to actually win, whether it's for school board or city council or county commission or the state legislature.
Ned, give someone one piece of advice. I know you do this for a living. I know there are many pieces of advice you could give, but right now there's some parents who's going to run for school board. They want to run for city council. They want to get involved. They're scared. They don't know what they're doing. Give them one piece of advice.
Take the time to think through and do your research and understand what it actually takes to run for office. What does the district look like? How many votes will it take? Where are you starting from? What's your message? Put all those pieces together and don't just jump into it and figure it out. If you take a couple days, maybe a couple weeks to really think through some of the fundamentals, which of course we highlighted American Majority, it'll make the approach and your run much better. But I will say this, Jesse, the thing that I would tell people listening, it's incumbent upon everybody to actually do something. The republic is at stake, and whether it's you helping somebody run for school board or running for school board or running for city council or county commission or the state legislature, I think we all have to elevate our game and our involvement in every sphere of influence that we have in the moment, because if we don't do something and do it quickly, I do not like what our future looks like if we continue to see the left continue its march and not see more losses. We have to actually meet them on the political battlefield at all places and beat them. And if we don't beat them, we're going to regret it.
Support the First TV today and get instant access to exclusive specials like Who is Ron DeSantis? The history of FBI scandals and America's worst presidents. Visit thefirsttv.com/support or download the First TV app to become a supporter and start watching today.